often have the chance to become the next blockbuster movie. Sometimes being a hit, sometimes not so much. There are even times where the book has been found to be lacking and the film blows viewers out of the water. Before we begin, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Every new sub helps us achieve our goal and keeps us motivated to create new content. With that being said, I'm your host, Jamie, and here are 10 films better than the book. Number 1. Blade Runner. The novel written by Philip K. Dick, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep was released in 1968. The film Blade Runner came out years later in 1982, which was directed by the infamous Ridley Scott, who did an amazing job with this project. Following a former police officer, Rick Deckard, he's tasked with tracking down replicants, essentially bioengineered humanoids, and kills them. It's a simple plot, but honestly, the book was boring and kind of had too many different things going on. The film has more of a focus on Deckard's story and the story of the replicants who are struggling to survive in a new world, while also providing the emotional connection to the characters. Even the visuals were more captivating than the book. And yes, I know that sounds weird, but hear me out. The landscape alone is almost desolate, with these bright neon lights that cast a certain type of glow that's difficult to put into words. The story alone is a dystopian society after nuclear warfare, automatically painting a bleak outlook on any landscape. The entire story just flows better on film, better than it could ever do on page. So take some time and check out this classic on Apple TV and Fandango. Number 2. Starship Troopers. In 1959, Starship Troopers was written by Robert A. Heinlein and released to the public and was considered a great novel, even winning the Hugo Award for Best Novel in 1960. However, in 1997, Paul Verhoeven directed a better adaptation than one could expect. We follow a group of soldiers in the 23rd century as they battle against aliens and a fascist government. Sure, there was some backlash to the film for its political themes, but it has since then gained quite the following. The film is also more fast-paced and has more of a straightforward narrative, mainly following Rico and his story, including his love life. Verhoeven even takes the political and social commentary in a different way. It's not so much philosophical as it is satirical. The news broadcasts are used to portray propaganda, and press conferences are basically a joke in itself. The film is easier to grasp as it doesn't have so much information dropped throughout. Yeah, it can be considered a popcorn flick, but sometimes that's a hell of a lot better than the whole lot of thinking. What do you think? Haven't seen it yet? Check it out on Paramount Plus, Hulu, Fubo, Sling, Roku, Prime, Google Play, Apple TV, and Fandango. Number 3. Jaws. Peter Benchley wrote Jaws that was published in 1974 with some mixed reviews. Readers often found the characters bland or the story itself was just a bit off. A year later, though, Steven Spielberg decided to direct this American classic that still has great reviews and is considered some of Spielberg's best works. We know the story. Man vs. Shark, money vs. safety. I could go into more detail, but we've already discussed this film in full detail before. Now here's where the difference between the two medias lie. In the book, there's a more complicated plot that involves the mafia. In the film, there's never a mention of the mafia, and the characters are more structured, more heroic, or villainous. There's also this whole focus on who's at the top of the food chain. In Man vs. Shark narrative, that just makes the film flow better, causing the viewers to get that thrill they were looking for. Doesn't help that this is one of the most iconic soundtracks to date. My only request is to never remake this film and keep it as this classic. If you haven't seen it or just want to revisit this thrilling tale, you can check it out on Netflix, Prime, Apple TV, Google Play, and Fandango. Number 4. Mean Girls. Not gonna lie, I never knew Tina Fey got the inspiration from a self-help book. So the book is Queen Bees and Wannabes, which is this guide to help parents and help their adolescent daughters deal with things that being a girl comes with. Cliques, gossip, boyfriends, and whatever else. It has been revised at least 3 times to fit a better narrative, but let's be real. Having a conversation with your kids is a lot more helpful than a book, but that's my opinion. However, in 2004, Tina Fey wrote Mean Girls, while Mark Waters directed, and this felt more relevant than anything. We know girls can be evil with their bullying, gossip, cliques, and just sheer jealousy. And this film was able to take all of those things and open a door to more modern issues in high school. The film became a cultural phenomenon and that empowered girls to start to come together instead of ripping each other apart. It is a great comedy that hits on some heartstrings and one that should be watched again, so check it out on Roku, Paramount Plus, Prime, Google Play, Apple TV, and Fandango. Number 5, The Godfather. 1972's epic gangster film, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, is considered the second greatest film of all time. And yeah, it deserves that spot. The novel, though, was written by Mario Puzo that has many subplots taking away from the core of the story, mainly the Corleone family. The film focuses on the family drama, the police relationships to the mafia, and how that world kind of comes together. It's also more fast-paced and allows viewers a relation to certain characters in a more meaningful way. The film also takes the visual effects to a whole new level from the book. Example, Baptism of Fire, where some enemies are assassinated during one of the character's nephew's actual baptism, is downplayed in the book. Even just the lighting alone shows the shift in power, the violence each character carries. Overall, it's just a better story that needs to be seen, and you can check it out or revisit it on Tubi, Pluto, Paramount Plus, Hulu, Fubo, Sling, Roku, Prime, Google Play, Apple TV, and Fandango. Number 6, The Shawshank Redemption. Stephen King published his realist novella in 1982 that follows two prisoners who bond, become friends, and escape. The film adaptation came out in 1994 with critical acclaim. King is a phenomenal writer and usually has some great stories. However, this one is kind of a miss. The film is able to bring in more meaning to certain scenes that would have been devoid of emotion, making them have that emotion. Connections between characters are more relatable, and being able to see the way that they interact with such beautiful songs, instrumentals, or whatever add a layer that is often missed on the page. I will say, the ending in the movie is so much more satisfying than the book. No, I do not agree with suicide, but this warden was corrupted beyond belief and knows that his life is not going to be anything worth living after being exposed. In the book, it's just kind of like a slap on the wrist. The warden resigned and got no punishment for everything he's done. There's more that adds extra layers to this film that really should be seen. So if you haven't, or just want to revisit this emotional prison drama, you can on Prime, Google Play, Apple TV, and Fandango. Number 7, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I'm an advocate for mental health, so this entry is a little closer to home than most would realize. Both the film and the book are a critique of psychiatry, which is often the case for patients and doctors alike. The book was published in 1962 and the film was released in 1975. And in that short amount of time, things were already changing for psychiatry. In both medias, this is a conversation starter, especially considering mental health was not talked about back then. If people had any kind of illness in the mind, they were often brushed under the rug or stuck in a hospital that made matters worse. The film, however, was able to show the darker sides of institutionalization and how it affects a person even more. The acting alone from Jack Nicholson is top tier, and the narrative alone making his character more likable is what really sets the two apart. One of the things that helps bring some more value to the story is that this film was actually filmed in a mental institution where real patients are often seen in the background, allowing for things to happen and sounds to come through to really show the evils these so-called hospitals held. Now we've come a long way with psychiatry and sciences around that, but this particular film will create conversations. So don't miss out and check out this film on Google Play, Prime, Apple TV, and Fandango. Number 8, Jurassic Park. Not gonna lie, I have never read this book, and after reading a synopsis of it, I don't think I want to. It seems to be overcomplicated, using more scientific theories and making people just plain evil. The book is also very graphic, almost to the point you don't need an imagination to see what's being written about. Now the film, which, yes, we have talked about this film a few times, has better pacing and tone. It's more action-packed, fight or flight moments. And characters are all around better. Example, Ian Malcolm was this brutally harsh person, and John Hammond was just a greedy old man who wanted more money, no matter what it costs other people. In the film, there's like this innocent curiosity in Hammond, who is filthy rich, but the reason for the park is just because he's curious what it would be like and wants others to enjoy this adventure as well. Malcolm is also very different in the movie, making him a lot more likable and relatable. The visuals, practical, and special effects all make this film to be one of the best films out there. So head on over to Peacock, Prime, Google Play, Apple TV, and Fandango to enjoy this classic dino adventure. Number 9, The Wolf of Wall Street. Martin Scorsese has a way to bring energy, charisma, and flair to the big screen. And he does just that with this adaptation from Jordan Belfort's memoir. The book talks about Belfort's career on Wall Street, the corruption and fraud that led to his downfall. Now, memoirs can be difficult to read as we're seeing things through that person's eyes. And the film takes everything from that book and makes it something worth watching. It isn't this tale of woe is me. It's more of a play stupid games, win stupid prizes. What really brought all this together, though, besides Scorsese, is Leonardo DiCaprio as Belfort. He's able to hone in on that charm, that manipulative personality that we see with the bad guy without saying it's the bad guy. But he's also able to bring the viewers to understand his character a lot better. What do you think? Let me know after you check this out on MGM Plus, Fubo, Prime, Philo, Fandango, Google Play, and Apple TV. Number 10, Requiem for a Dream. Darren Aronofsky directed this 2000 psychological drama based off the 1978 novel written by Hubert Selby Jr. Together, they created this epic film that depicts 4 people as they're introduced and become addicted to various drugs. I love this film, and the book is okay, but it just doesn't hit as hard as the film does. In the film, we see the descent into addiction and all the changes that happen to a person during this transition. From simple personality changes, habits, to full-blown, unrecognizable, and willing to do whatever they can for their next fix. Between the visuals and the scores throughout the entire film, as well as the actors doing a fabulous job, it pulled at some heartstrings and made some viewers see that addiction isn't necessarily a choice. It could be something as simple as a diet pill. You know, want to lose some weight and try these pills so you can fit into that outfit that makes you feel beautiful. Or hell, even energy drinks. It's easy to fall into those traps. But to see this descent into addiction is just visually stunning and so worth the watch. So check it out on Tubi, Pluto, Roku, Fandango, Plex, Peacock, Prime, Google Play, and Apple TV. Thanks for checking out the video. Did we leave any films off the list? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to tap that bell icon to stay up to date with our latest releases. You can reach out to us on Twitter or X at Studios Fat, or chat with us on Discord, linked below. We're also now on Blue Sky. You can find us at studiosfat.bsky.social, which will also link below. If you're really enjoying our content and want to help support us, click that join button for exclusive content, rewards, and perks. Make sure to check out our very own merch store located at fatninja.shop. All proceeds go towards our next film project, so we'd greatly appreciate it. I've been your host, Jamie. Thanks again and take care.